BBL cricket is back on the channel with the return of, or the opening of, the BBL SuperCoach game for the 25-26 summer. Welcome back to returning viewers on the channel, and welcome to any newbies on the channel as we start the journey towards hopefully taking out the BBL SuperCoach title for the 25-26 season, with this first video being a team reveal, just sort of scrapping it in sort of 5-10 minutes with some ideas, looking at player prices as the game did drop at about 11:30 at night last night on the Wednesday night coming into Thursday. So a lot of people have sort of just chucked together teams, and so we'll do that here. I'll give you a sneak peek, well, not a sneak peek, but sort of a show of the schedule, I guess a look back on what the Excel spreadsheets I did last year and will probably replicate again this year, so that it's easier to track, as the BBL SuperCoach we know is very much a fixture planning game that you got to plan around the fixtures rather than the players in a certain degree. But anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's jump into this. So we start this like we do all years with the complete fresh planner here. So obviously for those that are returning, you'll probably know all of this already, but for those newbies that are playing it for the first time, there's 17 players to play for, to choose out of 2 million in your starter team, and you get 3 trades around, including, is it 3 or 4 rounds where you get a boost. Let me just see, hopefully that doesn't wreck it. It doesn't, but you do get the, let's see, trading, if it's 3 or is it 4 trade boosts. It is, let's just see, transferable. You'll be able to trade up to 3 players at a time, or make 2 or 3, etc. And then is there the trade boost? The trade boost, for up to 2 rounds, you'll have a trade boost. So it's 2 trade boosts. Okay, that sounds familiar from what it was last year. Just double checking that. But there is obviously 1 wicketkeeper on field, 1 on the bench, 5 batsmen and 5 bowlers on the field, 2 on the bench, and then a flex position which comes from can come from a player from either the batter, bowlers, or wicketkeepers, all encompassing. So now we get on to the team selection. For the 2 million to be spent across 17 players is about 117k per player. If you take away sort of 300k or so for the bench, then you're looking at around about 1.7 for 12 players, which I believe is about 140k, give or take. I think it's about 143,000 per player. So for those that are returning, they would know that the magic number is dramatically decreased. It's given players that are based off an average about a 10% price drop, which is massively helping. It's about 200k in terms of value. I would say, roughly speaking, that it's probably about 180k when you consider the fixed price players in terms of their price at a price point, the 152k internationals like you see with Rizwan, and then you've got the 39.5k's. And then also, if we just go down here, there's no 39.5k's in the wicketkeeper slot, but there will be in the batter slot. You've got Aiden O'Connell, Lockie Hearn as the 2 there, and then you've got the 58.5s as you can see there. Those are the 2 basement price players, basement price, I guess, prices that players can have if they are had so poorly the season before that they don't have, I guess, couldn't even get to above the minimum, which I believe the minimum average is about 22, give or take, for the 58k. Sorry, no, it's about 24, I think. But anyway, we can figure that out. Well, we can just look at Lockie Shaw's break even. Yeah, it's about 22. So yeah, that's a good spot to be in, because players will go over 22, obviously. So now the first thing that we probably got to look at for it's a semblance of it. I won't exactly go and say, oh, we need to look at the fixtures and plan accordingly. That's what we'll do in future weeks when we do team reveals and stuff like that. But, and I'll also have obviously my, each individual team I'll do a team review on. I'll do individual positions. I'll do premiums, rookies, etc. in each position there. I'll look at also the international talent exclusively itself as well, in standalone videos, and probably do a rules video itself just to sort of outline different quirks in the scoring and how it advantages certain players. But if we just look here, this is the updated. I'm pretty sure this is the 100% correct in terms of the fixturing and how the doubles work, and you'll see why I highlight the doubles. We might not get into it exactly in this video. This will just be a quick, well, not quick, but just sort of a standalone. Let's select these players. Let's see how it initially fits, and then over the course of the preseason into this comp, I will drill down into the reasoning behind it, etc., and we'll go through there. But as you can see, Hurricane Sixers start with the early double in round 1. Then round 2, you've got Brisbane and the Thunder. And then in round 3, it goes back to the Hurricanes. That's one thing to note. And then you've got the Stars, and then the Stars on the bye, and then the Stars into a double. And for this exact reason, the Stars being here, alongside you've got the Sixers who do it twice, and the Hobart Hurricanes who have a bye into a double. More so the Stars because they go double by double. It is imperative for cash generation because you want to be holding that 130k bowler from the Stars in that round 4. When they've got the bye, use him as a loophole, which we'll get into further detail about that when we talk about the rules of the game and the scoring, I guess, in another video. But that'll be crucial there. Cash generation is key across most fantasy games. It is still crucial in SuperCoach, even with the easiness to get teams because of the price drop due to the magic number dropping through the floor from about 2.95 to about 2.63. So I could do this and just go with the international players, and I'll sort of maybe just do this to start and sort of show you how you can build a very good team from the start. But if we just do that and select Rizwan, I don't know if he'll have necessarily as much relevance because of this double in round 8, but we'll get to that. But yeah, we'll just sort of select him here to start. And then in the batters selection, I obviously could select Smudge, could do short, and you'll sort of see how you could do something like this, but you'd run out of cash awfully very, very quickly. And Smith obviously won't be available. Clem Maxwell, I don't think is available due to injury. And then short could be in and around other squads, but he should be fine to lead, I would think, from Adelaide's perspective. But I think one of the guys to really just look at quickly here is Mitch Owen. I think he could take a better responsibility with the ball for Hobart. So I think he's one that will probably be nailed into my side. I think also Cooper Connolly is one that I really like always. He seems to just continue out scoring really, really well. If we do look, Perth don't really have a kind schedule for him. But batter bowler, he could easily just score points for fun. And he's done it in the past, averaging 71 last year. And then if we do look at other players, you could say, Babar Azam probably has a lot more value than Rizwan, even though Rizwan is a keeper, just because he has that early double in there, and you can potentially get a really good boost for points there if he goes off, and then you could move off of him. But yeah, if you're gonna start one of the Pakistanis, it's probably Pakistani sort of batters. It is going to be Azam over the likes of Rizwan there. But we'll just do this for the sake of this. And then in the other spots, I think another guy to really potentially look at early is a Chowdhury. He's gone in patches and scored in patches, but with Tim David being a batter only, Bo Webster probably in and around the test squad, I think Chowdhury could do really well. So that's a potential there for that early double there. And then looking at other guys to look at in the early double, somehow Hussain has the batter, the all-rounder status, so you can look there. I think also you should probably look at someone like a Mitch Marsh as well, just the 117k. We've seen what he's done in the past. If he's up for bowling, he'll do really well. I'm pretty sure Shadab Khan is actually injured at the moment or recovering from a surgery. Then you've got guys like a Daniel Sams or something of that regard that he's always one to look at there, as he seems to score really well. Obviously had a poor year last year, but there was some injury in there. I'm pretty sure he had, if I remember correctly, if we look at the season stats here for him, I'm pretty sure he was involved in that collision with the likes of Cam Bancroft over in the West, I want to say. And yeah, that lines up there. And they both basically took themselves out of the season for the season. And then another guy here, just cheapest chips that you can sort of look at as well in the batter slot is the likes of Aaron Hardy. I really like something of this regard. It probably wouldn't have exactly this 7 plays here, but I think it is rather close. And then you get 800k for the bowlers slots. The bowler slots are actually really, really fun to look at, I would say. Could obviously go with the Shine Shah Afridi because he is going to probably do really well to start. Obviously, Ravi Ashwin as well, given we know the schedule here. There's a double there. He could do really, really well. And you could look at it there. Hassan Ali and Luke Wood at Adelaide Strikers, they should get a game early and do really well there. So there's those two as well. Rian Ahmed that we looked at already. David Payne's probably, I think, at the ILT 20, so he's going to be out. Scotty Boland should be with the test side. I should probably sort this by price order rather than anything. Let's actually do this just to show you sort of the players. Steckety's not going to do that. None of these guys I really like at the top end, to be completely honest with you. Nathan Ellis, I do probably like just being the likes of the Hobart Hurricanes. Obviously, we selected Shine Shah Afridi. Then you've also got the likes of Ben DeWarshus. And then we start to scroll down here to the bowlers. I do really like the likes of a Riley Meredith. I also like, if we continue on, Jack Edwards should probably do well. He's probably going to bat 6, I would say, for the Sixers this year, which batting 6 and bowling, he's probably going to do really well there. We can probably, as a matter of fact, we can probably move Daniel Sams into the bowling slots here, as I think there's another batter in the sort of 80k range that, from memory, I really like the look of. But I can't remember off the top of my head exactly. Yes, it was Michael Nisa that I really like the look of. You can store him there, even though he's more of a bowler than a batter. You can store him in the batter's slot there and wait for him to play in round, is it 2 on the double? Yes, round 2 on the double. And then we move here as well. And you'll see, I don't know how much we've got. 282k for 4 spots here. I'm pretty sure if we just go here and look at the other bowlers here, we already have Meredith. I think you can also go another one that I really like as well in and around that 100k is Chris Jordan. He just always seems to find a way to score really well. I'd need to check Tom Curran's availability because at 106k, that feels cheap, especially for a guy that's probably going to bat like 5 or 6, probably 6, probably 6 or 7 for the Melbourne Stars. With the likes of Bo Webster going, that should actually really help him out. And so I really do like the look of it. And then for other guys to potentially look at in terms of the bowling slots, I think Nathan McAndrew at 60k is probably a really good one, as well as Mitch Swepson. So you can probably look at those two. And then I'd have 57k. I probably should sacrifice someone like an Afridi here and get like a Bartlett or something of this regard, just to see. Where's Bartlett? Bartlett's a 128k, and then I'd have 80k for another player here. I can probably just do a players I can afford list, and then that'll get me to players that are probably going to do really well. And you start to see someone like a Fraser McGurk could do actually really well. Someone like a Joe Clark could do really well. But let's just quickly select someone like that of a Fraser McGurk here just to finish out the side. So one thing you'll see here, and the reason why I think I've actually gotten really tight on cash here a little bit is maybe the Rizwan selection over the likes of a someone of the elk of like a Philippi early who has the double. We look here and you see Philippi's double there. So you could go there over the likes of a Rizwan. That would save 40k, and that would get this up to sort of that 110, 120k player, which there's quite a lot in that range that I really do like. I think you do need to stack the Hobart players, and then really look at also getting the likes of some Sixers players as well. I do like Hayden Kerr as well as another selection there over someone like maybe a Meredith early on. And then that'll free up another 30k to spend on improving this bench here a little bit, so that you can still get the really good scorers in. But yeah, cash generation this year looks really, really good in the in this sort of 80k bracket, 80 to 100k bracket. I really do like it. You've got Hardy, you've got Nessa. I mean, McAndrew's there. Fraser McGurk's probably going to pop off and score pretty well. And then you've got McDermott as well. That's really cheap in the 79k bracket there. And then you've got fallen giants like Bartlett, as well as Mitch Marsh, who have easily gone well beyond what they're priced at, as well as Michael Nisa. Like if we look at Michael Nisa, 35 last year, whereas in the last couple of years, he's basically been a 60s guy for 2 years, and then a couple of 40s, a 50 there, and then a 45. So he's probably at least, you'd say, 5 points upside, which is about 12, 15K. Well, at worst, I would say, and at best, he's about 25 points of upside, which is around about that 60K marker, give or take a little bit. It might actually be a little bit more. It's about 60, 65K upside for the likes of Nisa. So, yeah, if him and Hardy can get going alongside potentially like a McAndrew getting going for once. He averaged 34 the year before, 51. So I think McAndrew is one that could actually fire. He's got at least 10 points upside at 60K. So yeah, I think he's one that after a 22.3 season, he went 29. So we'll see how he can go this year, because if he can get that upside early, and he's a cheap player that you will probably play both games in, is it round two double there. So you're already looking, as you can see with my bench, already looking at Nessa and McAndrew for round 2 alongside Bartlett, a strike bowler there. That's already 3 players on the double in round 2, but that'll probably develop over the year as I look for the optimal strategy. If we look back here on what I did last year, you'll see that I did something like this here, and you can kind of see that I looked at really trying to maximize players. On the double, I got, 4, 5, 8. I got 12 players on the double. I got all 12 players on the double last year to start. Obviously, we can't do that with the 1 or 2 games less in the season. In the round, sorry, there's only 5 games in this round, whereas there was, 6 extra games. So that would be, I believe, a 7-game round. So there was 2 extra games in the first round last year. And that's why you got all that. And then there was a lot more buys to deal with. A double straight buy for Perth last year was quite annoying, but you can see how that develops and how this can almost become a fixturing game over it. But I think starting wise, you need to really just spread out the cash a little bit, get those cash generators on the bench there, because the cash generation will allow you in the end, because I know in my top 100 year that I ended up having about 15 players out of the, at the time, I think it was a 16 player comp, in terms of 16 players on the team. I think I had 14 or 15 players that were 100, 120K plus in that year and were actually legitimately playable. Whereas at the moment, you would probably argue, if I was to flatten out some of this a little bit, I could probably get up to 12 players that are playable, and then some underpriced premiums that could potentially return to their glory days. But yeah, that you probably need a good 400, 500K in cash generation. Maybe a little bit less this year because of the 200K jumped off, because of the magic number decrease. But you're still going to need cash generation. And that's why Nessas, Hardys, McAndrews, Fraser McGurk, someone just popping off in that range is critical, alongside the Marshes and Jordans that are underpriced, Hussein potentially underpriced as well. But yeah, I would say that this team is probably 70% the way there, and we'll develop it over time as we sort of whittle down the players, as we do our team reviews for each and every BBL club, and we do our line-by-line reviews of the wicketkeepers, batsmen, bowlers, and we look at that alongside just the fixturing and how we sort of want to look long-term. But anyway, that is the video there. I hope you guys enjoyed the first sort of startup video for BBL SuperCoach. If you did, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.